I say? What was I saying? That's literally nonsense. Like, y'all did not watch the same movie as me. Like, y'all watched the movie wrong. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. All right. So initially, I wanted this video to like be more professional and stuff, but then I was like, no, it's not what I want. What I want for this video is to just see my true beliefs and my true ramblings from Cars. Like in a interesting, like the Cars trilogy is a masterpiece, and that's how we're gonna get into this video. So if you're new here, you're new here because everybody's new here because this is like my second video or something, and the other one is private, right? And also, if you like videos like this, I know you are, okay? And you probably watch podcasts. And yeah, I know what you are. And welcome, because that's the type of community that I want. People like you. Because I know. And if you think I don't know, I do know. So you can call me Benny and enjoy my deep dive, not even deep, my dive in shallow water into the Cars trilogy. I hear too much is put onto the Cars movies that I can't get behind it. So the first Cars movie did kind of good. Like I'm gonna show this what I'm looking at, but tomato meter 74%, audience score 79%, and this came out in 2006. It did pretty all right, but for the other two car movies, I'm pretty sure they didn't do great, and that is where like people just don't like them. And I don't get why, because they were literally so good. Like watching them, they were so good. Like 39%, that's the tomato meter, so that's like critics, right? And then 49% for the audience score. After watching it, I'm like, you watched the movie wrong, because what in the world? Cars 3 came out in 2017. I don't even think I watched it when it came out. And so Cars 3 actually did better than Cars 2. Like it's 69% tomatoes. Audience score is also 69%. So I'm like, all right, these movies, they should be higher. That's all I'm gonna say. Like after watching them, the way that I watched them, the process of watching these movies, like they're a masterpiece. And everything I believe that is Cars. So, first, we have Cars 1. Cars 1. Cars, the movie. Honestly, it was really good. Like, it's a classic. 2016? What? No. 2006, Cars comes out. And it's the beginning of the rest of my life, everybody's life. Cars was very important for the community, for the children, for me, for the future, because it just was. So let me see. Can I get a summary of what the Cars movie, the first movie? Get out of here. For Cars 1. So we have while traveling to California to race against the King and Chick Hicks for the Piston Cup Championship, Lightning McQueen becomes lost after falling out of his trailer in a rundown town called Radiator Springs. While there, he slowly befriends the town's odd residents, including Sally, Doc Hudson, and Mater. When it comes time for him to leave to the championships, to championship is no longer his top priority. So that summary does its job. It's summarizing the movie. I'm not gonna say that the summary is a lie, but where should I start? because I feel like the first movie isn't really where the analysis is for me. It was really the second movie. But first, we're gonna start Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen, because he's the main character. Um, Lightning McQueen is whitewashed. I think Lightning McQueen is Afro Latino, and his parents happen to be rich because there's an ongoing theme. Like you need to have money. Like his parents weren't rich, but they weren't. They were like really truly middle class, especially for 2006. 2006, his parents were definitely middle class cars, and so Lightning McQueen was able to actually become a racer. And he did a good job. He was a rookie. But he was kind of trash. Like, as a person, his personality was really bad. But I'm going to say that is because he was young. But the movie didn't I feel like the movie didn't portray, didn't really make us feel like, oh, he's a bad guy. Like, not a bad guy, but he was not nice. And okay, the first movie is really about classism. Like Radiator Springs, like it's classism and capitalism because Radiator Springs is only run down because they built a new highway. And they could have just helped build up the area around there. But instead they built a highway straight through the beauty of Radiator Springs in the desert. There's a lot to do with Radiator Springs. But here we have Radiator Springs, and Radiator Springs they have a lot of interesting characters. So let me get a character list. Okay, so honestly, we got the iconic Mater. Mater's character actually, his character is really important. Especially for the first and second movie, which the second movie focuses a lot on Mater in a good way because we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. But here in the first movie, we see Mater, who is kind of the exact opposite of Lightning McQueen. He's not a clean car. He's a rusty car, rusty bumper car, right? And he actually has the benefit to be around other cars that will not discriminate against him, which he goes through a lot in the second movie, which we're faced with the discrimination of Mater as a rusty, rundown car, right? And then we have Doc Hudson, who is against his will, a retired racing car. And he's really hardened by life, right? And it's expected. I would be hardened by life too if my racing career was ended by a crash, something so painful he couldn't go back to. And but he found his place as the mayor of Radiator Springs. And we have Sally. Sally is Sally we consider she's like a gentrifier almost. But Sally is white, but not white by choice. That's what she gives me. She's not white by choice. She just happens to be white. A blue white car. And then I'm just reading through the list on Google. So we have Chick Hicks. He's a conservative. Chick Hicks would have a podcast where he hates on women and lemon cars. Lemons, as we find out in the second movie, are cars that were built bad. Their engines are bad. Another sign of discrimination. Discrimination is a big thing in the Cars universe. It's literally society. I know the Cars franchise is kind of done, but Ramon and Flo's love story, can we get a short on Disney Plus or something? That'd be so great. Italians are cool. So then next on the list, we have Mac. Mac is the truck that... Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I reading out the list like y'all never seen Cars? I'm just gonna keep going. So we have Mac. Mac is the truck that like drives Lightning McQueen around, which honestly, kind of. Oh my gosh, I'm kicking you out. I'm kicking you out. Mac's role as like Lightning McQueen's like driver is kind of interesting because you only see like a cup, like you see all of the trucks that carry all the other cars, but you don't really see like you saw one truck that carries other stuff, and it's kind of interesting, like low key, because you really only see them in the first movie. The trucks, like these big like semi trucks, they're like the workers. Like everybody else is a worker, but they're the real workers. Like they're hauling everything across country and hauling people, also people cars. People they're doing all that hard work. Like somebody needs to get the gas to and fro, right? Who's doing it? It's them big trucks. Nobody else is getting the gas around, especially in America. Like, I don't know how other countries do it, but semi-trucks, without semi-trucks, America would not exist because they're so important to transportation. And it's interesting to see, like, how, like, to think about what the semi-trucks, like, what their job is in the Cars movies. Like, we need a Cars spinoff called Trucks. This whole video is going to be about all the spinoffs we could get from these movies. But the first movie is really that world building. To build the world and to build these main characters, especially Lightning McQueen and Mater. Because you see Lightning McQueen, like, really, I want to say, like, connect to who he represents. Like, as a race car, he doesn't have any big deals or anything. Like, he's working with these guys. His sponsors are Rusty Bumper Cream sponsor guys. Like, you would think they're like rich guys or something because, like, cars get rusty. But in this, like, they're rich, obviously, but they're not the top guys. And they're not the top guys because in car society, they would rather just get rid and hide these rusty guys away than even show them out to represent them, right? Because there was the guy, Fred. Like, you could tell throughout the movie that people looked at Fred weird because he's rusty. And everywhere he would drive, he's leaving down some rust. But he really can't do much about that, right? Because if you get rusty, like if the car's getting rusty, like what can he truly do? Like Mater, what can Mater really do about the rust? He's a car. They have stuff for the rust, but it doesn't do that much. Like there's a community of people, of cars that are rusty that need representation. But I really do think that Lightning McQueen working in this town, this rundown town, is connecting to him to who he is. He's not a rusty car, but those are the people he represents. He's representing these rusty cars. He's representing the underprivileged cars in society. That's who he represents. And he was kind of ignorant to that because he kept looking towards getting bigger and getting more famous, which makes sense. Obviously, he's doing these races because he wants the fame, he wants the money. But he wasn't doing them for his people. He was actually embarrassed, like, to have his sponsors be these rusty cars. These cars that are fighting, like, that are doing this basically, like, for representation. Like, he drives, he races with stickers that say Rusty's on them. Like that's who he is. The first movie is about Lightning McQueen coming to terms with who he is and what he represents. He's the underdog, right? He represents the rusty guys, the guys with no money. right? Like, that's who he is. That's what he represents. He gets fame. He gets money. He's not Rusty, but that's where he comes from. That's his origins. And that allows him to appreciate, like, being in Radiator Springs, being with Doc allows him to appreciate the small things, like the enjoying living along with enjoying the race and the fame that will come with it, right? Understanding who he is and what is valuable to him, especially like, because starting off in the beginning, like, there was no relationship that he was looking at. He just wanted those twin cars or whatever. He wanted fans. He wanted groupies. And then he meets Sally, and like Sally, and I just think first movie is great, right? It's really good. I think the rating that it was given for what it was, like, it goes well with it. But I think all the movies show the most together. Like, watching them all together in one big thing is where the movies shine. But yeah, there's a lot of value in the first movie to establishing who Lightning McQueen is. Cars 2 is not about Lightning McQueen. Surprise, surprise. So, here we go. I'm going to read the description for Cars 2 now. Cars 2 did the worst, right? But I think it has done the worst because people don't understand the world that was built. So here we have, because it's not, Cars 2 is not about Lightning McQueen. He's a character in it, but Cars 2 is about Mater, right? And the whole Cars franchise is like a comment on society. Cars Society is what the Cars trilogy, that is what Cars is commenting on. Cars Society. And so here is the summary for Cars 2. So, let's get into some of the characters. So obviously we have Lightning McQueen. And like I talked about just a little bit ago, Lightning McQueen has been a character that I want to say struggles almost with his identity and what he's representing. Because he's the underdog, he's the little guy in a lot of situations, but not universally. So, as I say, he's not Rusty. Like, he has class. He's the whitewashed one. Like, he believes he, in certain situations, that he's better than people and he's more classier than other people. And one of the people that I believe Lightning McQueen subconsciously believes he's better than is Mater. Mater is a country car. He's a unclassy. He's Mater. He's loud. He's unruly and he's goofy. But he's this car that has become Lightning McQueen's best friend. Throughout the starting of Cars 2, you can see Lightning McQueen like addressing, like acting subconsciously on his belief that Mater is less than him, right? He's not seeing Mater as Mater's true self, and he's like, okay, Mater's my best friend, but also Mater needs to act this way. He's embarrassed of Mater, and that it's addressed in the movie of his embarrassment that he has of Mater and who Mater is and what Mater does and what Mater represents on a personal level from him. Because Lightning McQueen has always been embarrassed of these rusty people, the less than cars that his own best friend happens to be, who his sponsors happen to be, who a lot of his fans happen to be. These people that are celebrating the underdog are these people that Lightning McQueen happens to look down on. And there's like an extra layer of like discrimination and like really coming to terms with, like really like confronting it in this, because Mater is a tow truck. So Mater always is dealing with these sort of lemons. the cars built bad, the cars that won't work, right? And the spy thing, but I feel like the spy part was just for not for developing the world that much. Besides the fact that you can say spies are progressive, like I don't know what's going on. Like none of these, like there wasn't really a moment where Finn McMissile or Holly looked down on Mater for who he was, right? And I want to honestly, yes, like I want to say that they didn't really understand or address, like they didn't comprehend what was going on. Like I don't really get how they were spies, but didn't understand. Like they were like those people. They don't see color, right? Like don't see color. They don't see engines. They don't see how people are built. Like they don't understand where the resentment and stuff could come from these lemons, the lemon drivers, right? The drivers, the lemon cars that have been discriminated against because they were built bad. So yeah, so the spy part was just showing like these people, like there's people that like the view overall of how people are seeing these lemons, and it's really just to ignore them. Like Finn McMissile and Holly, they didn't really understand anything about the engines or anything. But here we have Mater, who is already discriminated against for his appearance, his personality, on top of him being a tow truck. Like he deals with these discriminated people every single day. These are the people that are his people, right? You understand? Like Mater is not one to discriminate. Yes, he's using the lemon term. I'm gonna say this: the L slur, lemons, the L slur against cars that cannot change who they are. Right? There's no real way to change. I believe to change how these cars are made. Like that's a part of car society I won't understand because I'm a human in the real world. So how in the world would I understand how cars are made and born, and why some cars would just have bad engines no matter what? Like I just don't get it. What really matters is that Mater knows these cars. Like he understands these cars. He knows these cars because he deals with them on a daily basis. Not in like a cop way, but in like he's not discriminating against these cars because wait. I just thought like that's like a whole nother level of what I could, because it could go two ways, both ways. I see Mater as a compassionate and caring person, right? Compassionate and caring car. So Mater, as this compassionate and caring car, like what is he like? He's a tow truck. That's like he was built for that job, right? So as a tow truck, like there's so many ways you could look at this. Like what job do the tow trucks pay? Because you don't see that many tow trucks throughout this whole franchise. You see Mater, and then you see the tow truck guy that works for the lemons. And then it's like, what is Mater? Like you just don't know. Like who is Mater? Like if we put him in society, Mater is there to help people, and he doesn't have a bad view of these people. Like kind of like the trucks. Like the semi trucks are so important to car society. The same way Mater, a tow truck, is so important to car society. Like they're like the backbones of cars. Cars are stuck on the side of the road if they can't get anywhere. If they didn't have a tow truck, where would they be? Like a crucial part. If there wasn't giant semi trucks, what could they do? They can't do anything. Like this is what I'm thinking about. Like this is why I'm making this video, because there's so many levels to car society. Like what does it all mean? There's just so much that I could talk about forever about these movies if I keep thinking, because I was watching the movies right. Everybody else watching these movies, watching them wrong. Okay? Watching them wrong. You need to watch all three of them back to back to back, okay? and then make your opinion, because altogether the the comments they make on Car Society are so significant. Okay. Okay, so we already talked about Mater and the lemons, right? But we need to talk about this separate aspect of the whole thing, like with the lemons and everything. So we have Miles Axelord. He's the creator of All in All, right? The alternative oil brand. And so this movie, it's like a double layer of, first you have the discrimination of the lemons, but also lemons happen to be some of the most successful people in society, which honestly is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what they're trying to say with that. I don't get what they're trying to say, like with the lemons having so much money and all that. Like, obviously, there's poor lemons. I don't know what that comment was supposed to be, because the level of discrimination that lemons face, to lemons being some of the richest people in the cars world, to where they can have a tow truck with them at all times and basically run like a giant crime syndicate, is kind of weird. That's all I'm gonna say. For the lemons, their main goal is to make more money. This is where I'm getting like confused. So instead of like to look towards lemon equality, they're going for, no, this is, I'm gonna say that Miles Axelord has used the fact that he's a lemon to appeal to other lemons in their fight for equality with the non-lemon cars, okay? Hear me out. So Miles Axelord had money, right? But he wants to be like the biggest oil baron. He wants to own big, like he's big oil, okay? Miles Axelord is big oiled, but he also happened to be a lemon. So he's always experiencing malfunction and stuff in his engine. And that's okay. That's something regular. But it's not like there's so many lemons. And for him to have this grand idea of like, let's make more money off of other cars. Like, Miles Axelord is a lemon. He also wants to be super rich. And so he goes through this whole big thing of making All in All to destroy the engines of regular cars so that alternative fuel becomes like obsolete and nobody wants to ever use alternative fuel, so that he and other rich lemons that are like the children of oil barons or something can get richer, which I think defeats the whole purpose of this lemon discussion. How can you go through all of this? Like, the discrimination of the lemons is fueling all of these people, the non-rich lemons, because there's so many of them. There is obviously going to be so many lemons, cars that were built basically to not function, that don't have money, obviously. But Miles Axelord, is using his lemonness to get a following, so he can exploit them and their labor to get money from regular cars, to get money from non-lemons, right? And I think he's kind of like, it's smart, but like to work that way, like that's a lot of work into it. But it was just kind of weird. But I do like the commentary on how big oil wants to get rid of alternative fuel. Alternative fuel in the end does win. I'm moving out a section because this happened in both of the movies, and I want to just comment on the differences a little bit. So first, in the first movie, I'm gonna see if I can find a clip. In the first movie, Lightning McQueen, when he's like imagining him being like a Dynaco sponsor and stuff, he has this one moment where he's imagining himself as like a playing car hybrid, right? He has wings. Now, I'm gonna say, obviously, Lightning McQueen is not a plane. He's not a car with wings. So he has appropriated the aesthetic of cars with wings, as somebody who actually had wings in this second movie was Holly Shiftwell. She is a car with wings, okay? She is a plane car mix, okay? I just wouldn't put that out there because the plane movie does exist and is in the same exact universe. So if plane cars exist, like cars that have wings and can fly, there might be some significance there. I'm not watching planes movies to even comment on it, but I'm just saying I think there's some significance to that whole situation. When you put it into context of Car Society, it is so good. It's actually the best movie. Like, Car Society has a big oil problem. There's a rising alternative oil. Like, people are really into the alternative oil type of thing. Like, it's a big thing. But there's also so much discrimination. There's cars all over the world that were built badly that suffer because of this, and they're just ignored. Like, their suffering is ignored. And so here we are on to Cars 3. So with Cars 3, there's only like a couple of, like, there's not much that I can comment on. I just want to say first, let me read the summary of Cars 3 so we can see what it's supposed about, because I'm not like so here we have Cars 3. So Lines generation of blazing fast cars, the legendary Lightning McQueen finds herself pushed out of this world he loves. Hoping to get back in the game, he starts to cruise on the wrist and eager demonstration who has her own transformation with inspiration from the fabulous and a few unexpected turns. No, number 5, number 5 prepares to complete a piston cup racing biggest stage. Alright, so what is it on? Cars 2 is where big stuff happens, like big comments and claims on Car Society are made in Cars 2. And Cars 3 is where we come back and see other ways that Car Society works, right? So Lightning McQueen is now the old car. Like, he's what Doc Hudson was. Like, there's obviously like car ageism throughout the whole trilogy. Lightning McQueen struggles throughout the whole movie trying to understand, trying to find his place as a older car now in the sport that he loves. Similar, it's basically, we get to see Doc Hudson's life through Lightning McQueen. I like it. It was really like a nice way to see it, kind of. Not his entire life, but to see that coming to terms with being a mentor instead of the racer. And I like it because it still shows that Lightning McQueen is supporting the underdogs. Cruz Ramirez, she was a trainer, right? Because she believed that she could never race. But Cruz is a great racer. She wins the race in the end, right? She wins the race in the end, but she's that underdog car. She's that regular car against cars like Jackson Storm, who was built to race. Like, there's cars are being built to race. I don't know how Car Society is working, but these cars are being built to race. And Jackson Storm is this new, high-quality, young car that is being built to race, okay? And it's important to see this because these new cars are discriminating against the older cars or the cars that they believe are just meant to drive on the road. These aren't racing cars. These are regular cars. They're the everyday cars. And Lightning McQueen and Ramirez, like, they are still there. They are there to show that the other cars, the regular cars, the underdog cars will always persevere, basically. And I really Cars 4, we need a lemon car racer. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but have the lemon car racing. But how the movie started with Lightning McQueen getting into a wreck because he had helped somebody else out of a wreck, and it shows how much a wreck can change a car's life. Like, the cars really, their lives are changed completely if they get into a bad accident. And being a racer is basically putting your life on the line every single race, but it is a choice. Like, they make the choice to put their lives on the line. Like, the whole entire Cars trilogy always has a Lightning McQueen in his feelings over the people that he represents. He represents Cruz in this. Cruz Ramirez is somebody that is represented by Lightning McQueen. Not like Lightning McQueen, you do not represent Jackson Storm. He was built for this. Cruz was not. You represent the people that aren't built for where you're at, okay? And he struggles to realize that throughout the whole thing until the very end. Like until the very end of this movie where he's like Cruz needs to be the racer. He was struggling so hard to come to terms with who he was and what he represents. And I just think it's really interesting to see. And I'm gonna just end it there. Cars 3 is once again about who Lightning McQueen represents and how he comes to terms with it and bringing in the new generation of cars that are just like him. Cruz Ramirez, a car that is racing and representing those that don't think they can ever race because of who they are. A rusty car, a beat up car, a jacked up car, whatever, that is who they represent. Right? The old cars. You know? The ones that weren't expected to get anywhere in the racing world, those are who they represent, okay? And so here is the conclusion. The Cars trilogy is a masterpiece, but not really for the reason you think. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece to build car society. Like you can watch these movies and be like, oh, these are entertaining movies. When you're watching them as Cars movies, as Disney movies, like, okay, they're all right. They're not the best Disney movie you've ever seen, Pixar, Disney, whatever. They're not the best movie you've ever seen. They're all right. They're not that good. But when you're watching them as Cars movies about car society, it is so much more entertaining. Like when you watching any other movie, like if I was a car and I watched Cars, I'd be like, they're commenting on my society so well. This is society, is what I'd be saying if I was a car. And I was in the Cars universe and I watched the Cars movies. It's like that's how I'm watching it. I watch these movies as if I was a car, watching in the Cars universe, watching the Cars movies. And I was like, wow, like this is really what us cars go through. The same way people watch movies about all different types of, like, we watch movies based in real life all the time because we want to see different aspects of life represented. These Cars movies are just a peek in the Cars society, okay? Into the Cars world, the Cars trilogy gives us a peek into what car society is. And I think that's how you watch the Cars movies to enjoy them. Watch Cars movies like you're a car, and then you will see how good they are, okay? That's just how it is. And yeah. So thank you for watching. If you can, the next time you watch the Cars movies, pretend you're a car and watch them and see how much more important the movies are to you and to your view of car society. And if you like this, thank you. I also want to say I was gonna write an entire script for this, but then I was like, I'm not a script follower. It's really hard for me to follow scripts and to know like what to say, and so I just let it come off the top of my head. So like, yeah, the video probably seems super unorganized and everything like that, but it was way too fun. It was so fun to do it like this. And I want to be like one of those commentary YouTubers that like comments on stuff. And like, I was like, maybe do I have to like look nice to do all this stuff? And I was like, no, I can just be myself in my bonnet, in my pajamas, sit here and talk about whatever I want to talk about. So this video was an analysis of the Car trilogy right off the top of my head about car society and watching the Cars movies as if I was a car. And I want to just say I had the time of my life. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, share, subscribe. I'll probably make more videos like this because I always have an opinion, okay? I always have an opinion. There's never a moment in time where I don't have an opinion. And if I don't have an opinion, I will find a way to get an opinion. And thank you for watching. Subscribe. Yeah. Bye. This is why the first girl. You will get out of here. You will. So stop. Hi, my mom's getting so big. What's your name? What was I saying? Oh, I'm sitting at 3 years. Yeah, I feel like I don't know where I left off. Hi, Charlie. I'm gonna close the door on you. I'm closing you out. So, my cats actually love me. Oh, girl. Not too much. So I'm gonna edit this. But ignored, like their suffering is ignored. It's crazy. It's crazy. It really is crazy.